What does it mean when two different characters played by the same actor in two different projects both rise to the very top of a major platform's annual chart? Is it just popularity? Is it clever marketing? Or is it something deeper, something that says, "We, the audience, have seen your work, and we choose you"? Tonight on Star Watch Now, we are not just talking about Wang Yibo winning 2 iQiyi Annual Character Awards. We are talking about why millions of people pressed play, watched to the very end, and still could not forget the faces of Chen Shuo and Wei Ruolai. If you think you already know Wang Yibo, stay with me. You might discover a different side of him. 2 awards for 2 characters is not just a headline. It is a rare kind of confirmation. It suggests that the audience did not fall in love with a single moment, a single scene, or a single trend. They stayed long enough to recognize craft. They returned often enough to turn interest into impact. In an era where attention is scattered and loyalty is fragile, that matters. What makes this particularly powerful is that these crowns are not handed down from a distant panel behind closed doors. They rise from the most honest jury in entertainment, ordinary viewers, choosing with their time. Every replay, every clipped scene shared between friends, every comment typed at midnight after an episode ends. These are small actions, but together they form a verdict. And that verdict carries a clear message. Wang Yibo's work has crossed the line between being watched and being remembered. It tells us his characters have become emotional reference points, names people mention not because they were told to, but because they genuinely felt something. Awards can celebrate success. Audience choice reveals something deeper, trust. It says, "We believe you. We followed your character's journey. And we want more." Chun Shua is compelling because his struggle is not theatrical. It is familiar. He is not framed as a genius destined to win. He is framed as someone who keeps moving even when life offers him every reason to stop. Debt, grief, responsibility, exhaustion. These are not dramatic plot devices to many viewers. They are Tuesday. What makes Chun Shua resonate is the tension between survival and aspiration. He works because he must. He dances because he cannot breathe without it. That is the quiet heartbreak at the center of his story. The world demands practicality, but his spirit demands expression. And when an audience watches him practice in silence, or choose discipline over despair, they recognize a kind of courage that doesn't need speeches. Wang Yibo's portrayal works best when it is restrained. The performance does not beg the viewer to pity Chen Shuo. It invites the viewer to respect him. His dignity becomes the emotional anchor. Even in hardship, Chen Shuo holds onto a private, stubborn belief that his life can be more than bills and burdens. That belief is infectious. Viewers do not simply watch him dance. They watch him refuse to shrink. And for anyone who has ever carried too much too young, that refusal feels like hope. Wei Ruolai is not remembered because he is flawless, but because he is formed under pressure. His journey has the weight of history on one side and the weight of conscience on the other. He begins as a young man trying to understand the world, then slowly becomes someone willing to take responsibility for it. That transition is not loud. It is costly. What gives the character depth is the way belief is portrayed as a decision, not a personality trait. Wei Ruolai does not wake up heroic. He is pulled through fear, contradiction, and moral compromise until he reaches the point where he must choose what kind of man he will be. And when he chooses, the audience feels the risk. Courage is never abstract here. It has consequences. Wang Yibo's performance makes that inner transformation visible. It can be in a pause before a sentence, the steadiness of a gaze, the controlled breathing of someone refusing to collapse. These details communicate a truth viewers understand instinctively. Strength often looks like composure at the exact moment you are breaking. Wei Ruolai's story also offers a rare emotional reward. It reminds the viewer that integrity is not always rewarded with comfort, but it can be rewarded with meaning. He becomes memorable because he represents a kind of faith that survives storms. Faith in people, in ideals, and in the possibility that one life can matter. What makes these 2 characters extraordinary together is the distance between them. Chun Shua lives in the language of everyday struggle. Wages, fatigue, family responsibility, small humiliations that pile up. Wei Ruolai lives in the language of history, ideology, danger, sacrifice, the moral terror of choosing sides. They are not variations of the same role. They demand different bodies, different rhythms, different emotional temperatures. To bridge that gap, an actor has to do more than perform. He has to build two separate lives, each with its own gravity. The achievement is not simply that Wang Yibo played both. It is that audiences accepted both as real. They did not watch a celebrity trying a part. They watched characters with distinct centers. This is where the conversation shifts from popularity to capability. An idol can attract attention. An actor earns trust. Trust comes when viewers feel safe surrendering to the story, when they stop analyzing and start believing. In these roles, Wang Yibo's work invites belief. The physical precision of Chun Shua's discipline, the quiet intensity of Wei Ruolai's resolve, the emotional logic that makes each choice feel earned. The distance he traveled also suggests a creative hunger. It hints at someone refusing to be boxed into one image, one genre, one mood. That refusal is what keeps a career alive. It is not only about winning awards. It is about expanding the range of what people think you can be. And that, in the long run, is the most powerful transformation. There is a reason audience recognition feels different. It is built from lived experience. Viewers do not award a character because they are supposed to. They do it because something in that character speaks to something in them. It might be pain they rarely admit. It might be ambition they keep private. It might be the simple relief of feeling understood by a story. When an audience becomes the jury, the currency is not prestige, it is time. Time spent watching instead of scrolling. Time spent rewatching instead of moving on. Time spent discussing a scene with a friend, or saving a line of dialogue because it feels like it was written for your own life. That is why audience-driven success is so hard to fake. You cannot force people to care for long. In this case, the reaction to Chen Shuo and Wei Ruolai suggests two different emotional needs were met. One character offers a grounded, modern kind of hope. Keep going, even if the world is heavy. The other offers a larger, moral kind of courage. Stand for something, even when it costs you. Together, they cover a wide emotional spectrum, allowing different viewers to connect in different ways. The real jury also has an unforgiving standard: authenticity. If a performance feels hollow, people leave. If it feels honest, they stay, and they bring others with them. In that sense, these awards are not just trophies. They are proof of a relationship between actor and audience. A mutual agreement to meet in the same story and feel something real. There is an uncomfortable truth about visibility. The brighter the light, the more clearly shadows appear. When an actor reaches a level where his work is widely discussed, admiration is no longer the only response. Success can invite scrutiny, distortion, and, at times, hostility. Not always because of something he has done, but simply because he has become impossible to ignore. For fans, this can be frustrating. They want celebration to be pure. But the entertainment world is rarely pure, and neither is the internet. What matters is how an artist moves through that noise. Some fight every rumor. Some disappear. The more interesting path is the one Wang Yibo often seems to choose. Let the work speak, again and again, until it becomes louder than the commentary around it. That approach requires a specific kind of resilience. Not the dramatic kind that announces itself, but the quiet kind that endures. It is waking up and performing anyway. It is learning a new role while strangers argue about you. It is carrying the weight of public opinion without letting it poison your craft. This part of the story is emotionally powerful because it creates a protective instinct in viewers. People do not only admire talent, they admire perseverance. When they sense someone is being tested, they watch more closely. They listen more carefully. They root more fiercely. And perhaps that is the paradox. Shadows may follow success, but they also highlight it. They remind us that excellence has consequences. The real victory, then, is not simply staying popular. It is staying focused, remaining an artist while the world tries to turn you into a battleground.